Okay, the shaila today, so the shaila is, if you have a pot on the fire, or a crack pot on the fire, obviously left. The question is if you're allowed to put on top of the pot, if you're allowed to put challah to keep it warm. And many people wrap the challah in silver foil to keep it warm. So
shows you the age of how it works on Shabbos. Well, all week they don't care.
No, it's not. You put it on the black for sure. Then the shayla on the black, not on the fire if it's dry.
So the shayla, there's a few shaylas over there. One discussion about bishul. There's a problem with some bishul.
Yes, bishul after no bishul after bishul, but bishul after bishul.
We want to discuss the bishul shayla, and also which it's really this year is really a hemshik. So the earlier shurim, it's about Hatmana, shayla of Hatmana. Hatmana shayla is the fact that you're wrapping the challah in silver foil. So we want to go through the shaylas of bishul and the shaylas of Hatmana. Hatmana is bigger about Hatmana, but just to cover ground to make also look at the bishul. You know what? Really, we could do the bishul first, just to sort of get it out of the way, and we could spend time on that Hatmana shayla. We have Alter Rebbe Shulchan Aruch in front of you. It's Simin Shin Ches, and it's page Tafkuf Lamed Beis, whichever one's easier for you. Shin Ches if you're Aleph, or page Tafkuf Lamed Beis. Right, so in Sif your Aleph, Hey, Yom Tevim, Yisrael, Mishal Sabav. Yes. I should have thought before, maybe I could prepare something for Mishal Sabav. Yeah.
You don't say that?
Yeah, Mincha already said that.
We didn't say it.
Mincha, people don't say.
No, but today's Mincha. The night is Yom Tov. They don't say. I don't know. Maybe the Rabbi does.
No, we didn't say them.
Also didn't say.
Fine. Sifir Aleph. Hafshul Yavish, dry, cooked object, food. She'ein beiretiv klal. Sifir Aleph. Sifir Aleph. No, it's in Shin Ches. Sifir Aleph.
Oh, Yud Aleph. Okay.
You're in Shin Yud Zayin, so that's in Shin Ches. Hafshul Yavish are cooked food, dry. She'ein beiretiv klal, which doesn't have any moisture, liquid. Ein bei bishul acher bishul. Does not have a problem. There's no problem to cook it after, since it was already cooked already. In the special kvarkal tzark, as long as it was fully cooked, feel when it's standing legamri, even if it totally cooled down. Okay. Mutter feel the shleisim klidishin etech. You can even put it in a klidishin, which is hot. Okay, let's not go further into there. I just want to stop over there. Okay, we're talking about something dry, right? Because we're talking about a challah. Something which is liquid. If it's totally cold and cooled down totally, so then you cannot. There's a problem with cooking.
But challah was baked. It's not cooked.
Let's go to Sifyud Beis. Skip the Sifyud Beis, other side of the page. Yesh mishemer, some people say, although there's no cooking after cooking something which is dry. There's cooking after something which is baked or roasted. Something which is baked or was roasted in the sun, if you put something which is baked, and even if you put it into, you cooked it now. Cooking means you put it into juice, into water, and which is a condition, so it cooks, so it's chayiv. Okay, so that's the yeshem. And some people say differently. So in the end of Sifyat Beis, if you turn the page, the last two lines of Sifyat Beis, Benago, you see the line touch ain, Benago in the middle of the line, Benago lizar lachatchila kisvari rishena, and we're mapped like the svari rishena. Pass is something baked. You shouldn't put it even if it's shane. Because mashi has the levels of it. Fine. So we see over here that if something which is baked, you cannot l'chatchila cook it afterwards. Although there's no bishul after bishul, but you cannot cook it after. Let's look and see if you gimel. Next sif. According to this opinion, which we said to be machmer like, we said that there's bishul after, you could cook after it's baked. So there's also baking after something which was cooked already. So if you have something which was cooked, anything which was cooked, something which was cooked, you're not allowed to put it without any juice, baking in other words, next to the fire, in a place which is able to heat it up until you have to let this bit. According to everyone, no problem with baking after baking. Just like no cooking after cooking, no problem with baking or roasting after baking or roasting. Okay, let's come to our case. Let's think about our case. Achala. Achala is baked, right? When you're putting it on top of a pot, what are you doing? Are you cooking or baking?
Not really cooking, it's not baking either.
But it's definitely. Is it in juice?
No.
Cooking means that it's in juice. It's in reitiv. There's no liquid.
But you're saying it's not mamish in it, but you're putting mamish on top.
Doesn't make a difference. It's not in the
juice.
Cooking means you're in the liquid.
Yeah.
So you're baking.
Right.
So there's no problem to bake after baking. No problem. So you're allowed to put. If it's a bishul, the shaila of bishul, we said there's no issue. Because there's no problem of afia after afia. You want to know if you, let's say, something you want to take noodles or something which is cooked, and then you want to put it over there, then you have a shaila. But if we're talking about a challah, something, a challah or maybe a kugel, things which are baked, so then there's no problem. It's a bishul. There's no problem.
How we with this, the clay sheni, we're doing it as a bun. Are we marked it on?
But the black is the clay rishon.
Are we marked it on that on bishul or feel a bit on that too? Clay sheni.
That's what he's discussing. Discussing cliche in such a scenario.
Okay. The clay sheni. Is it make it feel like where on the bluff is this, whether it's on the fire thing on the edge of the bluff? This is how.
What? You're saying Benegea, the case of
not the case of salad. The case of that. Is there any difference?
Well, if it's able to be cooked in a place where Yatz or other space, the place is able to be cooked, so they can't put it there.
Can't put it there.
It doesn't make a difference.
But when you have a cook, is that something which I guess is baked, right?
Yeah.
Baked. So it would be similar to you put on the block or not, or would you decide by the challah that would be the same thing by something like a food? I'm asking.
Yasim said bishul. Shaim said bishul. So it's just like a challah.
Right, just like a challah.
But this is all talking about the shaila of bishul. We didn't discuss any other shaila. So we just want to get this on the side.
Yeah.
That we want to just want to point out that there's no problem of bishul. You just have to remember there's a lot of different details when you were there's also bemes. I wasn't planning on talking about that, but it's also just an important thing to know, which is confusing.
I
take up some time. That's something called shahiyah and chazara. So shahiyah and chazara. So there's no problem inside shahiyah because you have a blech, right? And also there's no problem. That's why you have a blech. That helps us for shahiyah and chazara. Okay, but I'm not getting into shahiyah and chazara here. And that's not the discussion of shir now.
You pointed one thing out, which is mamash negated. You have a fire next to the blech. This is negated. You can't just put things down on the counter next to that. Yeah, black on put it on the glass. Put it something.
It's the problem of cooking and the shallow cooking.
And this is a lot by mistake. This is a very easy mistake to make.
Right. Cooking is cooking wherever it is. It's cooking. It might help for Shia and Chazara for other discussions, but first things first, you have to make sure that it's fully cooked and that it's something, if it's dry, or if it's so if it's dry, then there's no problem. Even if it's cold, if it's something which is liquid, so then even as long as it didn't become totally cold, so then you can put it there. But if it's cold, you're not allowed to put something which is liquid. Fine. Okay, that's the Shiloh Bishop. So I want to discuss the meaning of Hatmana. So to do Hatmana, we have to back up. Sorry, I make it turn more pages over here, but in Reish and Gimel, in Reish and Gimel, sorry, Reish and Zayin, I'm sorry, Reish and Zayin. Reish and Zayin, page Kufman Beis. Page Kufman Beis. Okay, page Kufman Beis, it's the Dalet, bottom of the page. Page Kufman Beis. Okay. Siv Dalet on the bottom of the page. Aser lichbeis keli arkdeder itachas lishmer chema. If you have a hot pot, you cannot take another keli and put it over, saying this can't actually fit around it. But let's say you would take this, let's say you would be a little wider, you would cover this bottom pot, surround it totally, right? This would go around.
It's a bigger one.
If it would be bigger, I don't have a bigger. Okay. Yeah, it's clear. Taking a keli, and this is a hot pot, right over here, a hot pot, and to surround it with, let's say this pot, this is a bigger cup, take another pot, and you cover
All the way.
Okay? Cover it all the way.
That you're not supposed to.
Oh yeah. Okay, the Dalet on the bottom. So we're discussing, you have a hot pot like this. Let's say it's a hot pot. Taking this bigger pot, let's say it could cover it all the way down to cover it, to keep it hot. So it says also lichbeis keli arkdeder itachas lishmer chema, to keep the heat in kula tzmuna tachtav. If it is totally entirely insulated under it.
What's the difference if you put the cover and
No, but the cover is only the top.
and what's this?
You're talking about all the way. In other words,
Saying
a
the
bigger
cover right
pot.
If you put
No, it's not just over
bigger
here.
pot all the
It
way
goes all the
down.
way around.
oh,
But you're asking a good question. because
Every pot is a cover.
cover is a very important question.
But that's the same thing as crock pot.
We're gonna get to. I really, it's a big discussion about the cover. Okay. In kula tmunotak. So you always find the right question.
That's when the finish line. Again,
Elim kain hakeli huracha. Unless this keli, let's say, is very wide. Let's say the walls are very wide. Comes over very wide. That the walls of this outer keli do not touch the inner. It's not a problem with Hatmana. Hatmana is if it's hugging around it. If it's distant, the walls are distant from the inner path, so it's not a problem with Hatmana.
there's some air in between.
Here. Yeah. Avo mutter lichtbeis keli ala tafshel, but you are allowed to take a keli and put it over the tafshel kedei l'shamri min achbarim, to guard it from mice, or kedei shleistanef b'afudis, or that it shouldn't become dirty. Because that's not like you're surrounding it in order to warm it up, to guard its heat. Only what? It's just like, I'm sorry, it's not like to keep it hot. It's only guarding it, and it's like putting, like you said, putting the cover on top of it. Like putting the cover on top of it.
But the Achbarim, the mouse, was here 500 years ago. Today they put it on the black. No such a thing. Mouse, you have to watch.
Same for the covers.
Yeah.
But you still, even if you first of all, okay, so let's say it's talking about that. But even if you want, even today, we use covers for a lot of pots, even if it's cold. Let's say something's cold, we still cover the pot. Why? Why do you still cover a pot sometimes, even though it's not hot pot? You put it in the refrigerator. You still put a cover on the pot. Why? Because dirt falls in. You don't want it to spill over. Could be a few reasons why you put a cover on. So he's saying that if you are covering it in order to for any other reason besides for keeping it warm, even if it's hugging, no problem. It's just like putting a cover on top of it. Right? So that's what he's saying. Okay, so here's the one halach. Remember, we're discussing about a challah, which you're putting on top of a crack pot or on top of a pot, and you're surrounding it with foil. So that's what we want to get to. So just gonna bring some
Do they have
akdamas.
aluminum foil, the diamond out the red? I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not.
But they use the keli to cover it. They use something else. So, okay, let's go. I just want to show another halach, which is gonna be negea. We turn the page. This is the siftes. And he says like this. I'll read the whole thing, even though not everything's negea. Also, the Isser of Chachamim was when it said that you're not allowed to be matmin on Shabbos and something which doesn't add heat. Only when you're doing Hatmana in actual food, which was if the food is still in the original pot which it was cooked in. Then we're worried that we're gonna allow you to cover it on Shabbos, you might come to heat it up. But if you pour the food into a different pot, so then then while it's another pot, you're allowed to cover it. Even if afterwards you went back and you put it back to the original pot, it's still mutter. Why? It says in parentheses, because it already cooled down when it went into the second, when it touched the walls of the second pot. When the Chachamim make Isra Hatmana, it's specifically in a Klidishin, which is hat, and which it was cooked in. In the Skyder Ksas, and so that's one thing. In the Skyder Ksas, actually in the Yatzaladas Bay, if you cool down a little bit until you in Yatzaladas Bay, I feel obey the Klidishin Mutalat Min, even if it's still in the original path, it's not a problem. After the parentheses, for sure if it's totally cold, there's no problem with saying why would you put something cold in and why would you cover it? In order it shouldn't become freezing. And let's say if it's very cold outside, wherever you are, let's say you find yourself in Alaska and you want to make sure it shouldn't become too cold. Or that it should be lukewarm. Not to make it hot, not make a problem bishul, but just to make it lukewarm. So he says, in other words, something which is cold, you're allowed to do Hatmana. But, says it continues, this specifically in something which is not add heat. Something which adds heat. Also, even something totally cold, even on Friday. Okay, so when is the davar atzein and when the chachamim allow you to do Hatmana davar atzein is dafka and something which is not meisat havel. Something which is meisat havel, you cannot do it even at a Shabbos. You cannot totally hug it and surround it by something. Fine.
You mean if it's something cold, I have cooked food that is cold, I'm taking it before Shabbos, put it up with the blanket, cover it up. It's okay.
Before Shabbos is
Before
okay.
Shabbos, no, before Shabbos, if you're staying on top of the block,
It's cold.
but it's davar hameis havel, it's coming up from under. Now,
So everything you put there has to go warm up.
and remember, no, nothing to do with warm up. Warm up makes it worse.
So how you put it up with the black? Taken from the fridge. It's cooked already.
Hold on a second. You said that the minig by Ben Ishchai is even to put something hot
Still we put
and
it
to cover it and everything, right? So that was, we had a whole share. I don't know if you got to watch it yet. So that was a whole share. That's because there's a blech which makes it like there's a separation of air between them. But let's say there was no blech. Let's say, I'm talking only according to the Sfardim. Remember, this is not for Ashkenazic use. So
It's the radius.
so if it's mamish on the fire, mamish on the coals, let's say, so then even something which is cold would be a problem. And according to the Mechaber, even if it wasn't covered, take something cold, put it on the coals. According to the Mechaber, on the fire itself, it's not good. But the minig is, because since there's a black, there's a separation, so there's the minig is to be makel for Sfardim. But cold is a reason to be more makel, not a reason to be more machmer. Like when it comes to Hatmana.
See, they did all this mechalim for the Sfardim to have on Shabbat.
Yeah?
They're concerned about it. Yeah.
The Beit Yosef didn't hold that way, but the Minhag was that way.
Minhag of Lech Ledi.
Yeah. Minig is very important. Minig is still Tedi. Fine. So now back our Shiloh. If it's certain minhagim, our AC is Gehenna, right?
Thank you.
But this is something which is makubal by Klal Yisrael, by Gedolei Yisrael. It's not. Can't say that over here. Okay. Here's paper. Okay. Now we're just let's do the Igros Meisha, the side of Igros Meisha. There's two sides. Let's go to the side of Igros Meisha, the other side. Okay. You see on the right hand side on the top, it says Gimel. Ha'im mutter lichrich b'Shabbos davar gush mevushel tzenim benir aluminum foil, near Uchama may behefsik data. What's the question? The question's our question, right? Can you surround on Shabbos, wrap something gush, means not a liquid, we're talking about something which is a gush.
Yeah, gush is a chunk.
A chunk, which means not a liquid. Something which was cooked, something which is yavish, in other words, which is cooked.
Not lach.
Not live. Which is cooked, and it was cold, right? So there's no problem with bishul. That's what we said in the beginning of this year. No problem. And you're wrapping it in foil, and you're putting it with there's a hefsek data between it and the fire. So
Hefsek data is a black.
that's like a block. Like a block, exactly. That's like a block. And it could be even more, a pot also. I don't want to get into the Shihia Chazara problem. I don't want to get into that, but let's say in our case, putting it on top of a chicken soup pot or putting it on top of a crock pot. Fine. Shuva, what's his answer? Davar tseinin mutal hatmana. Something which is cold. We just saw in Rabbi, we just said something which is cold. You're allowed to be matin. You're allowed to do Hatmana. Bein shalayachum, whether that you're putting in order that it shouldn't become heated up, because in the Gemara it talks about that it should keep shielding it from the sun, that the sun shouldn't heat it up, so you cover it with towels or things to block it from the sun. Bein shalei stani yeser, whether or not in order it shouldn't become too cold. Afilo shetavak tzinasamat, even to come drop, to take away the coldness a little bit. Nami mutter is also mutter. Because this is talking about something which is not Mesiv Hevel, right? Something which is not Mesiv Hevel. But a Mesiv Hevel also, however, something which is Mesiv Hevel, it's Aser, Kemafurish, Assimilation, Zayim, Siva. We just saw after that, but something which is Mesiv Hevel, even if it's cold, Hatmana doesn't help. So with the hefsek data, nami hu mesiv havel. If you have a separation of a data between the fire and there's a pot in between the fire and let's say the piece of challah, let's say the challah which you're putting on top. Nami hu mesiv havel, it's still considered mesiv havel from under. Adding heat from the fire still. It's not just because there's a pot over there, it still gets hot on top, still warms it up.
But you can move it a little bit on the side of the heat. If the heat is right here, we put it.
As long as it's adding heat to it, it's a problem.
It's not direct.
Right, but it's adding heat.
It's adding.
As long as it's adding, when it comes to Hatmana, when Shia and Chazar is going to make a difference. But for Hatmana, the point is that it's adding heat. But Aser Batmana, so then you have to see yourself if it adds heat. But Aser Batmana, and it's Aser to do with Hatmana. Aluminum nami Hatmana. And to surround it with the silver foil is also Hatmana. So practically, what's that mean? Let's say you have a chicken soup pot. To put challah on top of it, I don't know. I'm not so sure that it adds. I don't think it adds. Not only okay, it's the feidah is not a problem as long as it's not on the fire. There's no problem to put challah to keep it warm. Let's say right before Shabbos you had it on, so you can keep it there. Keep it on top of your chicken soup pot.
Don't people that leave them in the oven? I've seen that. If it's warm.
That's a different story. Yeah.
Right? So if they're leaving the oven, Well, here we're discussing if people who put it in their foil and they put it on top. So we're saying if you put it on top of your chicken soup pot, so it's not davar hamesav havel under, right? And it's seinen, right? Actually, you have to make sure that it's seinen beforehand. If it's not seinen, so then it's going to be a problem. Right? If it's cold, if you take a cold challah and you want it to warm up a drop, and it's not going to, you want to warm it up, drop. So as long as it can't become. Even if it comes out, but I'm saying then it's a problem. It's a pavel. I'm saying, but you can put it on top over there, okay? Because you're allowed to put something which is seinen, right? If it's a seinen, it's seinen challah. Now. What about on top of your crock pot? Your crock pot is, I'm saying, first of all, the challah, before Shabbos, you could for sure do it, right? There's no problem. do it before Shabbos. I'm put it on top of your chicken soup pot. The davar she'eni meisav hava, you're allowed to do it from before Shabbos. So you're allowed to put the challah from before Shabbos there.
But the challah is inflation.
Okay. Unless it's
Right, it's
it
a
could be an
foil.
empty pot also.
Maybe if it's dry, it's not such a problem.
It could become flaky, of course.
Okay, so
We
maybe
machmir on this.
right. Maybe it's what type? Maybe it's a private pot. Okay, fine. It's chicken soup pot we're talking about. If there's liquid between, okay, fine. That's a shayla basar challah. You have to have everything in mind, you know. So there's then putting on top of a crack pot, even Erev Shabbos. So then there's a shayla because since it's David HaMeitzid Hevel, since the crack pot is, well, let's say a shalom pot which is on the fire. It's black, obviously, it's on the fire, and then you want to put on top of that you want to put the challah. So this is something which is Meitzid Hevel, and even if the challah was cold, it's still a problem because cold doesn't help us for David HaMeitzid Hevel. Now this is the shayla. Let's turn to the other side of the page, to the Mincha Shlema. And before you go to even look at the Mincha Shlema, let's see if you can think what he's going to say. We learned in the Shulchan Aruch how the Rebbe said about putting a cover all the way on top of it, even if it's hugging all around. He made a difference of why you're putting why you're putting the keli around. If you're putting it there to heat it up, that's definitely a problem with Hatmana. But if you're putting it there just for other reasons, that it shouldn't come dirty, you shouldn't want mice there, whatever it is, so then this is not a problem. So this is what Rabbi Shlomo Zalman was going to say. It's not really a machlekes, it really comes. It's interesting, but the shayla is, what's a silver foil there for? If you're saying the silver foil is there to keep it warm, okay, so then you have a problem. But if you're putting the silver foil there in order just that crumbs shouldn't fall over,
Shouldn't make it flaky.
shouldn't make a mess, shouldn't make a flake, whatever reason you want to make over there, so it's not a problem. So that's what Shlomo Zalman is going to discuss. Discussing making something in challah around, surrounding with silver foil, putting it on top of a crack pot, putting it on top of a pot which is on top of the fire, is it a problem of Hatmana? Okay, so says Mincha Shlema. Sorry? Hatmana means to insulate, to surround it, to hug it with some substance around it. Like in our case, we're talking about a silver foil around it. Kasav v'shem Egris Meisha. Egris Meisha wrote, somebody wrote to the Shlomo Zalman, this thing which we just, this thing which we just read, Ramesha wrote, Shu Eiser laniach machal atuv b'nir kasav agabegdedim shum Hatmana. That he said it's usher to put a food surrounded in silver foil and because of Hatmana. The Zevadi Pella says of Shlomo Zalman, it's a wonder. The Maishna Megdeda Gabegdeda. We say that you're allowed to put one pot on top of another pot.
It's the same thing.
It's the same thing. See, so what's the difference? The Efsher Shahu Eiser Yakish Munach Atav B'Seich Hagdeda. Could be, he says it's Aser only when you put it actually surrounded, you put it inside the Gdeda itself. So it comes out the what? It has two coverings. Besides the silver foil, it's also surrounded by the outer pot. Our gamzel in Mustaber, even in such a case, would it make sense? The Esim came back. You know what he's talking about? He's talking about, let's say, you have a cholent, and you put in the cholent, you put in kishke, you put in kugel. So many times, what you do is, you put silver foil, put something over there. Why are you putting it there? You don't want everything to mix. You want to be able to take it out for itself. Because you're not putting it there in order to keep it warm. If you keep it warm, you didn't need that. You just leave it with everything else and mix it with everything else. The reason why you're putting it inside,
You want it in one piece.
you want it to be able to keep it in one piece. The kugel shouldn't fall apart. So he says, therefore it can't be that Ramesha says that's usher. That's for sure not a problem. So he has no choice but to say that Pashtus Ramesha is talking about that you're making the challah, putting the challah on top. So he says, doesn't understand. When you're putting the challah on top, why are you putting in surrounding it in foil? The only way you can understand Shlomo Zalman, he means to say that you're putting it around in order it shouldn't become crumbs shouldn't fall around. That's not called Hatmana. Hatmana is only a problem if you're doing it in order to keep the heat. But obviously, it seems like Ramesha was learning that why are you putting in the practical reality. So Ramesha was saying that the reason why you're putting the foil is in order to keep it warm. You can't do Hatmana if you want to keep it warm. You can't surround something, hug it around on top of something which adds heat if it's adding if you're doing it in order to keep it warm. So it's really not a machlekes. And they actually are signing to it on the bottom. If you see, it's small letters. It says beis b'makom acher kasuv. The mutter late pashtida. You're allowed to take pastry veneer kasuv surrounded by with aluminum foil. V'litna agabe gdeidash agabe eish. If rakim akavani mechti limnaya is peridus. The whole point is that it shouldn't crumb. V'lei lishmer al afein, not to keep it on afein. Heil v'atifir lekadei leheisa if you lishmer as afein. Is that in order to keep the heat? Rak eitzig de shleis barer v'gam mamash double kleichlim. Ein zashayach v'gdeidas chachamim mutter. So really, Mara Machada Lipligi. There's no machlekes between Ramesh and Mechura. Right, so we're saying that since it depends why you're putting the foil there. If you're putting the foil there in order for the crumbs, so it's going to be a problem. It's not going to be a problem. And if it's going to be there to heat, then because as long as on the fire under, so it's considered Mason Hevel, adding heat from under, of glass or metal. So even though there's a hefsek of a pot in between, let's say a crack pot in between, or on the fire a chalmul pot in between, whatever it is, it's still adding heat. So now, just to point out that Hatmana is only if you totally surround it on all sides, right? So if you totally surround the silver foil on all sides, let's say it's not totally surrounded. You don't totally surround the challah. Leave part of it open. Leave a chilek, a nicker, a nice amount. It's not really clear how much that amount is, but you leave a nice amount opened, uncovered, so that's not a problem. Even if you're doing it in order to keep it warm, as long as it's not totally surrounded, you keep a nice part open, so that's also not a problem. So if you don't totally surround it with silver foil, then it wouldn't be a problem.
You have to leave it open.
Right. They say that the Rabbi went to visit the camp. So he went to every single place, every single room, and everything. He wanted to see every single thing. One room they wanted them to open up. They went to get the key. Basically, that was the room where they dumped everything, all the garbage, everything. And they saw him, and they said, when the Rabbi asked, "What's it us?" He said, "This is the Zeichel L'Churban." So this is some ashayla which he mentioned, which is a little complicated, and he said when you're putting a cover on top of putting the cover on top of the pot. So seemingly, why are you putting the cover on top? So you could either put the cover on top in order that dirt shouldn't go inside, anything shouldn't go inside, nothing should go inside, no bugs, no cockroaches, shouldn't spill out, right? Or you can put it in order to heat it up. Now, the shayla is like this. Let's say the kavana is for both. Right? The kavana is for both. Usually, today, I'm saying when you have a hot pot, when you cover the pot, you also want to cover it in order to keep it warm.
This is minhag ha'olam to cover the pot.
Yeah.
That's unusual.
Right.
Everybody cover the pot.
Right.
Never mind different what's the reason.
Right.
Everybody cover the pot.
This is a good spot. So this spot, what she's saying right now. So almost like let's make the point, the question. We said that if you're covering it in order to like just like surrounding challah in silver foil, we said the difference if you're doing it for heating up, then it's a problem. If you, to keep it warm, it's a problem. But if you're doing it for any other reason, then it's not a problem. So the cover has the same issue. When you're putting a cover on the on top of the food, top of the pot. So look for it. You're also maybe you could say it's not touching the top. I don't know. That's a maybe.
Shabbos morning. This is not Friday night.
So this.
Shabbos.
The way Hatmana works is that if it's something which is davar, which is not meisav hevel, which is not heat, which means that you're hugging it around in something which does not add heat, which means whether it itself adds heat or anything from under causes it to add heat. So then you are allowed to do it on Erev Shabbos, but on Shabbos you're not allowed to do it. It's something which is meisav hevel, which adds heat, say anything which is on the fire, even if there's something separating between it and the fire, like something in the black, something on top of the crack pot, something on top, it's considered davar ha-meisav hevel, something which adds heat, and that is also even Erev Shabbos. So now this question is whether Erev Shabbos and davar ha-meisav hevel, because davar she'eini meisav hevel you're allowed to do anyhow on Erev Shabbos. So we're talking about on Erev Shabbos and davar ha-meisav hevel, and on Shabbos on something which is not meisav hevel. So the question is, if you're not, so when you're covering the pot, so we said if you're covering in order that it should keep out dirt and shouldn't let it spill out, all different reasons, it's not a problem. But if you're doing it in order to heat it, so that to keep it warm, so then it's a problem. The shaila is, what if you're doing for both? If you're doing it both to keep it hot, and in order to protect it from food, from dirt falling in, from any other things. I'm saying, someone covers the pot. Why do your chicken soup pot, right? Saying chicken soup pot. We say sometimes it's covered out of. Now remember, if something was covered out of Shabbos and went into Shabbos covered, so then if it's something which is not meisav hevel,
No problem.
so then something which is not meisav hevel, obviously. But something which was meisav hevel, you're not allowed to do it on Erev Shabbos either. But something which was meisav hevel, she'eini meisav hevel, you covered Erev Shabbos and went into Shabbos. We had a share about this once. That it's not a problem if to uncover it and cover it again. Once it was on from the beginning of Shabbos, it was covered. So if the chicken soup pot was already covered from Shabbos going into Shabbos, so then you're allowed to take it off and put it back on. The shaila is like this, that it's more theoretical. I'm saying the pile, I don't think anyone's machmir about this. I think everyone covers their cholent pot and covers and does it. So the shaila is basically if you have in mind both to cover it for heat and for other things. So what's the halacha? I know if it's just to cover it to heat, so then it's a problem. If it's just in order to cover it for everything else, for dirt, so it's not a problem. The question is if it's in order to keep it hot, that is a problem, because that's Hatmana. Sorry? Maintaining, Chachamim said that's the problem to do Hatmana even in something which not makes a hevel. Because we're worried, because you might find your pot cold out of Shabbos when you come to be matmin it, when you come to insulate it, to cover it, to maintain the heat. You might find it cold. If we allow you to do something to actually, we're talking about on Shabbos. is you might find it. So therefore you might come. You might come to heat it up. You might come to heat it up. Okay, so that's so that even something which just maintain the heat is already a problem. And so that's what it says in the Gemara. Even something which just maintaining the heat, but only on Shabbos is the problem, not Erev Shabbos. And so if it's both to maintain the heat and for dirt and to keep out the protector from dirt, so then what's the din then? So there is the Mesha and Alter Rebbe. The Mesha said it by himself, and the Alter Rebbe is in the Madura Basra on the back. So they bring this svara which you're saying. They say that it's nothing unusual about covering a pot. It's just like putting food in the pot itself. There's nothing unusual about putting it in the pot. That's the way you cook. It's not obvious that you're doing it in order to heat up, to warm up, to keep it warm. That's how you cook the food. So we don't see anything from the fact that you put a food in a pot and you or you put a cover on the pot. You don't see anything special over here that you're warming up the pot. You're doing it in order to warm the pot. So the Mesha says that clearly. In Alter Rebbe, there's a big machlekes and pshat of Heinteke people today. What's pshat in Alter Rebbe with the Rabbi? Some people want to say that's pshat. Other people say that other people want to say. I'm saying in Alter Rebbe, they want to say in one way in Alter Rebbe, one pshat in Madura Basra, want to say that no, it's a problem. Anytime that you also want to warm it up, it could be a problem. I think generally people take on the second way. You're saying that since it's not unusual, it's the normal way. And if you look at the Lashon is in Siv Dalit. You see, you still have Alter Rebbe open. In Siv Dalit, it says, really, it's not. Really doesn't bring it out. At the end, it really doesn't really bring it out so much. But the original Lashon, the Ran, the Makris from the Ran, so it's mashman that just because it's a normal thing. It's not like something unusual to cover.
I got something to make it harder. They have a thing called a steam box. If you don't put the cover, the food inside doesn't steam. That's a big problem.
Well, Ramesh's Tshuva is talking about the thermos. You want to put something in the thermos. So he says when you fill up when you put it in without the cover first, it's not a problem. So it's like putting it in any cave because it doesn't have a cover. It's not a problem.
Cover.
But then when you cover, why are you putting the cover? So you could say in order to, so not just in order to keep it warm, you could say you're putting it in order for flies.
Without a cover, you don't have a thermos. Part of this.
That's what he wanted to say. The whole thing about having a cover is another whole discussion which we had in one of the other shiurim we had already about the cover. But the pile we make also the fact that it doesn't have a cover is already enough. It's not a problem on Hatmana. So the kid says, so if you have foil that's surrounded, so if it concerns you that it shouldn't crumb around, so you might have a nice heter over there. Unless if you want to be extra careful, you can make a little opening over there. But if you want to, whatever you do is fine. It's,
I think all this name the woman is to that, not the man.
The man has to learn to tell the wife, because the wife.
How many people make it?
See, if the man learns it, he has Mrs. Limit HaTeira, and he also...
and he has to go cook also, and the cook.
So take the Maisa, a guy has a challah now.
Right.
The Maisa,
practically...
scenario.
So serve a point, keep opening.
So either...
Just put it either directly on...
Also, if you put it on... if it bothers you, the crumbs... That's a big reason why you're you're surrounding it in foil, so
But
you
does
can
it
even
most
cover
of
it totally.
the foil most of heavy?
It's coming from under it heats it up.
Yeah, but if the foil wasn't there, it wouldn't be as hot as with the foil.
Fine. So even if it's made of it's not a problem because if it concerns you that the crumb shouldn't be falling all over, so there's a lot of place to say it's not a problem. And if you want to be extra, you could leave it a little bit open. But I'm saying whatever the balabasta wants, you know.
I made a kiddush one time here, I got Sephardic food, kibbeh, margin, and they put it next door. They cover it up. Now that you cover it up fully, you have to make holes or something. In the morning they came, the whole thing was mashmis.
I remember that.
I spent $400.
I remember that.
And they were afraid to come to tell us. So Avi said, I'm not going to tell him. So the uncle came. I said, listen, kaparat avonot. He said, you took it so easy, what to do?
Yeah, ecstatic.
So the next kiddush I made, we took care of it. They served it cold. The next year.